What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I want to give you guys some quick Atlanta Falcons news, and then I also want to talk about if the Atlanta Falcons should re-sign Todd Gurley. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to tune into the channel. But with that being said, we are on the road to 1K. So I really appreciate each and every one of you guys continuing to share out my content on all the social media platforms. If you would like to follow your boy on Twitter, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So first off, in Atlanta Falcons news, yesterday news broke. It was all over Twitter, all over Facebook. The Atlanta Falcons will not trade Julio Jones, will not trade Matt Ryan. Both of those guys will be here for the 2021 season. I pretty much knew that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones were not going anywhere based off of the cap hit. It's just too large of a cap hit. I believe Matt Ryan's is over $40 million. And Julio Jones, because he had that big guaranteed contract, both of these guys are on huge deals, and they're not going to be able to move these guys without taking that huge cap hit. So it's just not a smart idea for our Atlanta Falcons to move on from Julio Jones and Matt Ryan at this point. Also, I've talked about it numerous times. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are future Hall of Fame players. So I don't understand why you would want to move on from two of the best players to ever play for our Atlanta Falcons franchise. Neither one of those guys have showed any signs of slowing down. I know a lot of you guys may mention, well, Julio Jones did have a lot of injuries last year with the hamstring. But to be honest with you guys, I feel like the later half of the season when Julio Jones had that hamstring injury, I believe he could have came back for maybe the last 2 or 3 games of the season. I believe because the Falcons were eliminated from playoff contention, the franchise just protected Julio Jones. It was no reason to put him back out there on the field because the season pretty much was over at that point. So I do believe Julio Jones was well enough or healthy enough to play the last couple games of the season. I think they just held him out of those games due to us not being in playoff contention. Why risk him getting injured worse and then he be injured for the 2021 season? So I do believe the last couple games Julio Jones could have played. I believe it was just upper management like Rich McKay, Arthur Blank. I believe that was their decision not to play Julio Jones down the stretch of last season. And with Matt Ryan, it just doesn't make sense to get rid of him either because he's still playing at a high level. Basically, what I look at in a quarterback on whether you should move on or not is, can the quarterback make all the throws? Can he make the short passes? Can he make the intermediate throws? And can he still throw the deep passes? And to me, Matt Ryan still has the ability, the arm strength to throw the short passes, the intermediate passes, and the deep passes. There's no passes in the league right now or in the game that Matt Ryan can't throw. And basically, if you look at a guy like maybe a Drew Brees last year, in the last couple seasons, he's lost pretty much all of his arm strength and he couldn't throw the deep ball. So it limited what you could do on offense for the New Orleans Saints. And that's what I'm looking at with Matt Ryan. As long as Matt Ryan can make all the throws, the short, the intermediate, and the deep passes with accuracy, and if he still shows that he has the velocity and the arm strength, I feel like it's not smart to move on from a veteran quarterback, a Hall of Fame quarterback, when they still have proven that they can make all the throws. If you look at a player like a Tom Brady, same thing. He's a guy that still can make all of the throws. He can make the short passes, the intermediate throws, and the deep passes with accuracy and velocity. So when you're a quarterback that can still make all of the throws and you don't limit your offense, because I really feel like a guy like Drew Brees over the last couple seasons, he's limited what Sean Payton as the offensive coordinator could call, how he could call the game. because of his limited arm strength. So most of the routes that you see the wide receivers for the Saints run are either short or intermediate routes because Drew Brees couldn't make the long throws down the field with the velocity, with the accuracy, because he lost his arm strength. So as long as Matt Ryan has that arm strength, I do believe that Matt Ryan at least has I'll say maybe 3 to 4 years, barring injury. I could see Matt Ryan playing into his 40s if he wants to, but I definitely think playing at a high level, I could see Matt Ryan playing at a high level for another 3 to 4 years. But with that being said, it came to no surprise to me. I knew Matt Ryan and Julio Jones weren't going anywhere, just for the mere fact that their contract, like I said, is too big of a salary cap hit to let these guys go play for another team and us swallowing, those huge cap hits. We already don't have a lot of cap space with the Atlanta Falcons. So the last thing we could afford to do right now is to be letting some of your best players go and you eating that money, and letting these guys go. But with that being said, I also want to talk about in this video, Todd Gurley. Today, Todd Gurley actually had an interview on NFL Network, and he basically said that he was interested in coming back to play for the Atlanta Falcons. He said he's going to have his people, his agent, reach out, to Terry Fontenot and reach out to Arthur Smith. He said he was going to reach out to Arthur Smith to see, what those guys think about him coming back. Personally, should we bring Todd Gurley back? I do believe that Todd Gurley struggled last year. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him back. I do think that Todd Gurley still has something left in the tank. I do believe that Arthur Smith could get more out of Todd Gurley than a guy like Dirk Cutter, who just didn't want to run the football and who wasn't good at designing run plays and, making Todd Gurley's life easier. Do I believe that we need Todd Gurley to come back? I don't think we need Todd Gurley to come back. If it came down to bringing Todd Gurley back and bringing a guy like Brian Hill back, personally, I think that Brian Hill brings a little bit more to the table because he's a lot younger. And also, Brian Hill, I just feel like he still has that explosiveness that I didn't see out of Todd Gurley last year. I love Todd Gurley. I love how he talks to the media. I love the type of teammate he is. I believe that Todd Gurley is a leader. And I do think that Todd Gurley is one of the better running backs in the red zone. Last year, he did score 9 touchdowns, and I believe he ran for about 700 yards last year. So he didn't have a bad season with our Atlanta Falcons. I just think that the injuries eventually started to catch up with him with his knees. And then I also think that he kind of was, he lost some enthusiasm because Dirk Cutter just was a coach. And he talked about that in his interview on NFL Network, is that Dirk Cutter just didn't run the football. He basically said that I would love to play for Arthur Smith because I know he's a coach that loves to run the football. So I definitely think that Todd Gurley still has something left in the tank. I wouldn't be opposed, like I said, to bringing him back. It just depends on how much money he's looking for. If he's looking for, $6 million, something like that per year, I don't see the Falcons bringing him back. And that's what he made last year with $6 million. I wouldn't mind bringing him back maybe for about $3 million a year or $4 million a year, maybe. But bringing him back on like that $6 million a year, I think that's too steep of a price to pay when you can always go and draft another running back or bring back a guy like Brian Hill. Whatever we do, whether we bring Todd Gurley back or not, I think it'll be smart for the Falcons to use a stable of running backs. I would have a 3 or 4-headed monster at running back. I wouldn't just use one main guy. I believe they should spread the wealth around, spread the workload around. And that's the reason why I say I do believe Todd Gurley still has something left in the tank, because Arthur Smith is a guy that knows how to draw up running plays. He used to be an offensive lineman, so he's going to have this offensive line, I believe, playing at a higher level than they played last year. I believe that we're going to open up bigger holes for the running backs to run through this year. And I think that Arthur Smith will also get Todd Gurley involved in the passing game. And I really feel like that's where Dirk Cutter failed Todd Gurley last year and failed our running backs, is he didn't use our running backs mainly He didn't use Ito Smith. He didn't use Brian Hill. He didn't use Todd Gurley to the best of their ability. He hardly ran the ball. We basically ran the ball maybe 10 to 15 times a game, which you guys know I've talked about it numerous times. You at least need to run the ball 20 to 25 times a game, even if it's spread out amongst all of your running backs. You have to establish that running game and establish that balance so defenses are off balance and they don't know what you're doing. To me, last year, everything with Dirk Cutter was mainly draw plays. It was no imagination in his running plays and his running schemes. He didn't do a good job of running the stretch plays, which Todd Gurley, runs best, as those stretch and outside runs. He didn't do a good job of using Todd Gurley's, ability. So I really think that it's kind of hard for me to look at last season and kind of blame everything on Todd Gurley. I did notice that Todd Gurley has lost some of his burst, and that's just watching the tape and watching the games. You can tell that he's not the same running back he was when he won the Offensive Player of the Year with the Rams, and he was basically the bell cow. I don't believe Todd Gurley is a bell cow anymore. I don't think he's a guy that can get 20 to 25 carries in a game and hold up for all 16 games in the playoffs. So I definitely think if we bring back a Todd Gurley, you're going to need to have multiple running backs. So whether we bring Todd Gurley back or not, I would definitely still draft a young running back. I still would look at bringing a guy like Brian Hill back because I do believe that Brian Hill has a lot of upside as well. I believe Ito Smith is on his last year of his rookie contract. So he's another guy that I think that Arthur Smith is going to use in the passing game and use these guys to their strengths. But I definitely think that Todd Gurley could do some things for us, especially like in the red zone. So like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not saying that it's a definite yes, but I'm saying at the right price, I wouldn't mind bringing Todd Gurley back. Like I said, I believe at the end of the day, the Falcons need to look at being a stable of running backs and using a bunch of different running backs and not just use, one guy like the bell cow. I think we need to spread the wealth around. And I expect Arthur Smith, when he comes in, to, watch film on these guys and be able to put these guys in better positions than Todd Gurley and these running backs were put in last year. But you guys let me know what you think of the video. What you think about bringing back Todd Gurley. Do you think we should bring him back? Are you opposed to bringing him back? Personally, like I said, I wouldn't mind having him back. I do think at the right price, I definitely would bring him back. If he's asking for $6 million or more a year, then I say just let him go because he's not that player anymore. That's going to be like a MVP, borderline MVP, top 5 running back in the game. But I do think he's a guy that you can use on third downs. He's a guy that you can use in the red zone. And also he's a guy that you can, throw the ball to and, allow him to run wheel routes and things of that nature out of the backfield where he can use his athleticism against linebackers and safeties where he has the mismatch. But with that being said, this being your boy Jew, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Should we bring back Todd Gurley? Also, let me know what you think about Matt Ryan and Julio Jones coming back. Like I said, I think this is the smartest thing to do with bringing back Julio Jones and Matt Ryan with the new regime coming in. I do think that Arthur Smith is going to get these guys playing at a high level again. Him bringing back that West Coast offense and those bootlegs and things of that nature, bringing back a similar offense to Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay and these guys' offense. I really think that Matt Ryan is going to flourish in this new offense. But with that being said, this being your boy Jew, I'll holler at you guys in the next video. And as always, Falcons Nation, rise up. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button. As I stated, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And I'll holler at you guys in the next video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. Peace.